Bengaluru is India's third most populous city and the fourth most populous urban agglomeration. Originally developed as a garden city, Bengaluru has slowly transformed into a global IT and software hub. Bengaluru is recognized as the Silicon Valley of India. It also has a pleasant climate. Due to these reasons, the population of Bengaluru has been rapidly increasing. There has been a phenomenal growth in the population of vehicles as well. According to an article of the Bangalore Mirror, there are over 1.16 crore vehicles in the city as of March 2024, of which 1.02 crore vehicles are privately owned two-wheelers or four-wheelers. A BBC report also suggests that an average citizen spends more than 240 hours stuck in traffic jams every year. This highlights that the infrastructure growth in Bengaluru is unable to cope up with the expansion of the city, resulting in daily traffic congestions. To tackle this problem, the share of public transport in Bengaluru needs to be increased. Let us briefly analyze the present transport network in Bengaluru. Bengaluru has an extensive road network with around 14,000 kilometers of roads as of 2024. It has a radial pattern of road network where all the roads converge in the core areas of the city. The Outer Ring Road, a 62-kilometer long peripheral road developed in phases between 1996 and 2002, cuts across these various radial roads. A 10-kilometer long intermediate ring road has also been constructed in fragments in the southeast part of the city between Kormangala and Old Airport Road. There are many national highways which connect to the city. These include NH44, NH48, NH75, NH275, NH648, NH948 and NH948A. Please note that some national highways may share the same road as shown on the map. On Bengaluru's vast road network, the Bengaluru Metropolitan Transport Corporation or BMTC operates intra-city bus services. According to an article of the Times of India dated 15th August 2024, the ridership of BMTC has crossed 43 lakh after the introduction of the Shakti scheme. BMTC buses run on 1,744 routes with 58,899 trips. Now let's understand Bengaluru's railway network. Bengaluru is a major junction on the Southwestern Railway network. There are 5 major railway stations in Bengaluru: Krantivira Sangoli Rayana Railway Station, Yeshwantpur Junction, Bengaluru Cantonment Railway Station, Baiyappanahalli and Kiyarpuram Railway Station. Bengaluru is served by 5 major radial rail corridors. These railway lines come from Chennai towards the east, from Mumbai-Pune towards the northwest, from Guntakal towards the north, from Salem and Thiruvananthapuram towards the southeast, and from Mysuru towards the southwest. Apart from these 5 major routes, there are a few other railway lines. These 2 railway lines run in Bengaluru itself, connecting the main railway lines with each other. The railway line coming from Hassan and Bengaluru merges into the Mumbai-Pune line, and the line coming from Devanahalli and Chikkabanavara merges into the Guntakal line. Though at present these rail corridors serve only intercity traffic, a small number of short-distance passenger trains run in the morning and evening hours to nearby satellite towns like Tumkuru, Chikkabanavara, Bangarpet, Hosur and Mandya to serve the daily office-going commuters. Apart from the Indian Railway network, Bengaluru also has the second largest metro system in India called Namma Metro with a network length of 76.95 kilometers. It serves more than 8 lakh passengers in a day and is set to expand in the coming years. Approximately 100 kilometers of metro lines are under construction in Bengaluru, 44 kilometers of lines have been approved, and another 37-kilometer line has been proposed. The opening of all these lines within the next 10 years will make Namma Metro a 250-kilometer network. I've already explained about this entire system in my detailed video on the Namma Metro, so please check it out after this video. After understanding the present transportation network, we can conclude that buses, metros and Indian Railway trains are the main modes of public transport in Bengaluru. While BMTC buses carry more than 40 lakh passengers per day on average, we must understand that buses only add to road traffic. Unless and until introduction of newer buses are causing some reduction in the number of vehicles on the roads, we can say that it doesn't help a lot in decongesting Bengaluru. Buses should be used as feeder services to metros and railways. Thus, we must develop rail-based public transit. Namma Metro, a rail-based transit, carries more than 8 lakh passengers per day. But metros are very capital intensive and mostly limited to core city areas. The Indian Railway trains majorly serve for intercity travel and not for travel within Bengaluru. Thus, they don't play a crucial role for daily transport within the city. To tackle these issues and increase the share of public transport, many studies were commissioned for the introduction of suburban rail services in Bengaluru. The advantage of suburban rail is that it doesn't cost as much as metros, and it can also be expanded later to connect to suburbs far away from Bengaluru. Back in 1983, a team of Southern Railway proposed a network consisting of 3 suburban railway lines and a 58-kilometer long ring railway, but it was rejected. Another committee was set up in 1993, which recommended the same lines as that in the 1983 proposal. Both proposals were rejected by the then Prime Minister of India. In 2007, the government of Karnataka commissioned Rail India Technical and Economic Service, or RITES, to prepare a comprehensive traffic and transportation plan, or CTTP, for Bengaluru. It suggested 10 rail routes totaling 204 kilometers. Then, in 2010, a proposal was made by Praja Bangalore in a call to action report, which recommended a 376-kilometer network around 3 main hubs, Yeshwantpur, Yelahanka and Bengaluru railway stations. In 2011, RITES conducted a feasibility study exclusively for suburban rail services in Bengaluru and submitted it to the Directorate of Urban Land Transport, or DULT, in 2012. The suburban rail system was approved by the then Siddaramaiah-led Karnataka government in 2013. In the 2013-14 state budget, it was proposed to set up a special purpose vehicle called Bengaluru Suburban Rail Corporation Limited, which would implement the project. From 2013 to 2015, the state government had been granting funds to make a detailed project report, but no progress had been made in terms of developing the network. Then, in 2016, the state government proposed a modified version of the original RITES plan, which looked to kickstart the project. While RITES survey deemed the project as feasible, the railway stated that it was not feasible. In 2018, a revised plan for the suburban railway was made by RITES and submitted to the South Western Railway in January 2019. Certain observations on the final report were made by the Ministry of Finance, and in 2019, the plan was amended to reduce project costs to 16,000 crore rupees. This plan was finally approved by the Government of India in October 2020. In June 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for the suburban railway in Bengaluru. The suburban railway project is being implemented by KRIDE, which stands for Rail Infrastructure Development Company, Karnataka Limited. KRIDE was originally created in September 2000 when the Government of Karnataka and the Ministry of Railways entered into a Memorandum of Understanding to set up a joint venture with equity participation between the two at 51:49 ratio. It was created to boost infrastructure rail projects in Karnataka. Presently, it is responsible for executing the Bengaluru Suburban Railway Project, or BSRP, and 2 large doubling projects between Baiyappanahalli and Hosur and between Yeshwantpur and Channasandra. Now that we've understood the history of the suburban railway, let's move on to the lines planned for construction and take a closer look at some of the other key details of the project. The Bengaluru Suburban Railway Project, or BSRP, consists of 4 corridors. Corridor 1 will run between KSR Bengaluru and Devanahalli. Corridor 2 will run between Baiyappanahalli and Chikkabanavara. Corridor 3 will run between Kengeri and Whitefield. And Corridor 4 will run between Heelalige and Rajanukunte. All the corridors are 148.17 kilometers in total. The corridors have been named after local flowers. Corridor 1 between KSR Bengaluru and Devanahalli is called Sampige line. Corridor 2 between Baiyappanahalli and Chikkabanavara is called Mallige line. Corridor 3 between Kengeri and Whitefield is called Parijaata line. And Corridor 4 between Heelalige and Rajanukunte is called Kanaka line. All the suburban rail corridors are being developed along the present railway tracks. Thus, BSRP tracks will be constructed as the third and fourth lines in the entire section. In sections having two main tracks, the third and fourth tracks will be constructed to serve the suburban railway alongside the two main tracks. In sections having one main track, space will be left for a second future main track, and the third and fourth tracks will be constructed to serve the suburban trains. However, in a city like Bengaluru, land acquisition is a major challenge, and in many sections, the land required for constructing the third and fourth tracks will not be available. In such situations, the suburban railway tracks will be built on single column elevated structures alongside the existing Indian railway tracks, as shown in the diagram. Thus, the suburban railway corridors will be a mix of elevated and at-grade sections. The Sampige line is a 41.4 km long line that will run between KSR Bengaluru and Devanahalli via Yeshwantpur, Yelahanka and Dodajala. It will have 15 stations. The line will be elevated from KSR Bengaluru till Lottegollahalli BSRP station, and then the line will go at grade till Yelahanka. The section near Yelahanka will also be elevated because the Yelahanka station will be elevated. After Yelahanka, the line will go at grade level till Devanahalli, but the section near Devanahalli will be elevated since the Devanahalli BSRP station will be elevated. Out of the 41.4 kilometers, 18.98 kilometers will be elevated with 8 stations, and the remaining 22.42 kilometers will be at grade with 7 stations. The stations on the Sampige line are the KSR Bengaluru City Junction, which is an existing Indian railway station. Its suburban railway station will be built elevated. Srirampura, which will be a future elevated station for the suburban railway. Malleshwaram, an existing elevated station. Yeshwantpur, another existing elevated station. Muthyalanagar, a new elevated station. Followed by Lottegollahalli, an existing elevated station. Kodigehalli, an existing at-grade station. Judicial Layout, a new at-grade station. Yelahanka, an existing elevated station. Nityaminakshi, a new at-grade station, followed by Beta Halsuru and Dodajala, 2 existing at-grade stations. Airport Trumpet and Airport KIADB, 2 new at-grade stations. And the last station of the line would be at Devanahalli, which would be an existing elevated station. Before moving on to the next line, I would like to clarify that when I am saying existing elevated station, it means that the Indian Railways has an existing station at grade level, and the suburban station at that place would be built elevated. Both these stations will be linked by the means of the foot-over bridge, and there would also be separate access to the suburban railway station from the roads. This is what I would be referring to when I say existing elevated station. The Mallige line is a 25.07 km long line that will run between Baiyappanahalli terminal or Baiyappanahalli panel and Chikkabanavara via Banaswadi, Hebbal, Lottegollahalli and Yeshwantpur. It will have 14 stations. The line will start at grade from Baiyappanahalli terminal. It will become elevated at Sevanagar and Banaswadi. After Banaswadi, the line will descend and go at grade till Kanaka Nagar. After Kanaka Nagar, the line will again become elevated from Hebbal till Yeshwantpur. After Yeshwantpur, the line will go at grade again till Chikkabanavara, but the section near Chikkabanavara will be elevated. Out of the 25.07 kilometers, 12.905 kilometers will be elevated with 6 elevated stations, and the remaining 12.165 kilometers will be at grade with 8 at grade stations. Now let us talk about the stations that would be present along the Mallige line. I hope you all would have gotten an idea of how the stations are being classified, as I had explained for the Sampige line stations. From now, I'll only be reading the station names and you can check their characteristics alongside. The stations on the Mallige line are Baiyappanahalli panel or Baiyappanahalli terminal, Kasturi Nagar, Seva Nagar, Banaswadi, Kaveri Nagar, Nagwara, Kanaka Nagar, Hebbal, Lottegollahalli, Yeshwantpur, Jalahalli, Shettehalli, Myadarahalli and Chikkabanavara. The Parijaata line is a 35.52 km long line that will run between Kengeri and Whitefield via KSR Bengaluru, Cantonment and KR Puram. It will have 14 stations. The line will start as an elevated line from Kengeri and will descend to at grade level till Jagajeevan Ramnagar. The line will become elevated after Jagajeevan Ramnagar from KSR Bengaluru till Cantonment, after which the line will become at grade till Whitefield. Out of the 35.52 kilometers, 10.4 kilometers will be elevated with 4 elevated stations, and the remaining 25.12 kilometers will be at grade with 10 at grade stations. The stations on the Parijaata line are Kengeri, RV College, Jnana Bharati, Nayandahalli, Krishna Devaraya, Jagajeevan Ramnagar, KSR Bengaluru City Junction, Kumara Park, Bengaluru Cantonment, Bengaluru East, Baiyappanahalli, Krishnarajapuram, Hudi and Whitefield. On the 17-kilometer stretch between Cantonment and Whitefield, the South Western Railway is currently quadrupling the tracks, which is expected to be completed by mid-2025. Thus, the K-Ride proposes to build suburban rail tracks only between Kengeri and Cantonment and use the third and fourth lines of the quadrupled section between Cantonment and Whitefield. The Kanaka line is a 46.24 km long line that will run between Heelalige in the south and Rajanukunte in the north via Karmilaram, Bednigannahalli and Yelahanka. It will have 19 stations. The line will be elevated at and near the 4 stations Heelalige, Channasandra, Yelahanka and Rajanukunte. The remaining sections of the line will be at grade. Out of the 46.24 kilometers, 13.29 kilometers will be elevated with 4 elevated stations, and the remaining 32.95 kilometers will be at grade with 15 at grade stations. The stations on the Kanaka line are Heelalige, Bommasandra, Singena Agrahara, Huskuru, Ambedkar Nagar, Karmilaram, Belandur Road, Marathahalli, Kagadasapura, Bednigannahalli, Channasandra, Puramavu, Hennur, Thanisandra, Hegde Nagar, Jakur, Yelahanka, Muddanahalli and Rajanukunte. With this, we have covered the details of the 4 main lines of the suburban railway. But considering the proximity of the Sampige line to the airport, an airport link has been proposed to the Kempegowda International Airport. Since the airport link will be connected with the Sampige line or Corridor 1, the airport link corridor is called Corridor 1A. The airport link will be 5.5 kilometers long, starting from the airport trumpet and ending at the station to be built in front of the airport terminal. The station in front of the airport terminal is planned to be built elevated. Thus, out of the 5.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers will be at grade and the remaining 0.5 kilometers will be elevated near the airport terminal. This line will be useful for commuters as well as for the airport staff. During discussions with airport authorities while planning for this line, RITES noted that on a piece of land adjacent to the airport boundary, owned by the Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board, there was a proposal to establish an international exhibition cum convention center. Thus, a suburban railway station has been proposed here named Airport KIADB. I would also like to mention that the Namma Metro is constructing an airport link corridor as well, from Central Silport to the airport via KR Puram. This line is called the Blue Line and it will be 58.19 kilometers long. While the Blue Line of Namma Metro will serve the southern and eastern parts of Bengaluru, the Sampige line of the Suburban Railway Project will serve the central and northern parts of Bengaluru. The 4 corridors of the Bengaluru Suburban Railway Project will intersect at many junctions. Interchange facility will be provided at these junctions so that commuters can change from one line to another. At KSR Bengaluru, the Sampige line and Parijaata line will intersect. At Yeshwantpur, and at Lotegulahalli, the Sampige and Mallige lines will intersect. In fact, both these lines will run almost parallel to each other in between these two stations. At Yelahanka, the Sampige and Kanaka lines will intersect, and at Bengaluru, the Mallige and Kanaka lines will intersect. While the KSR Bengaluru station has been planned as a huge station with 4 platforms at one level, the Lotegulahalli station has been planned as a 3-level elevated station with the concourse at the first level and 2 levels above the concourse containing 2 platforms each. Similarly, there are other such layouts for the remaining interchange stations. Each station will be divided into public and non-public or restricted areas. The public areas will further be divided into unpaid and paid areas. The unpaid area is where the passengers will gain access to the system to purchase tickets. On purchasing tickets and passing through the ticket gates, the passengers will enter the paid area from where they can access the platforms. The non-public areas will consist of office accommodation, operational areas, and plant room space. The suburban railway stations will have modern metro-like facilities such as ticketing machines, automatic fare collection gates, stairs, and escalators. Many stations will act as integrated commercial hubs. The DPR of the suburban railway suggests providing advertising areas inside the stations or on trains, and providing spaces for retail shops inside the stations. These commercial programs will help in providing additional financial income for Kengeri. Stations will be integrated with other modes of transport such as buses, metro, Indian Railway trains, airport, intermediate public transport or IPT such as autos, taxis, etc. This will allow for seamless multimodal integration. The Bengaluru Suburban Railway Project is estimated to cost 15,767 crore rupees in total. Out of this, the Government of Karnataka and the Government of India will bear 20% of the total project cost each, while the remaining 60% of the cost will be obtained from external funding. As part of the external funding, Germany's KfW Development Bank signed a loan agreement in December 2023 with Kengeri officials to provide 500 million euros, which is equal to 4,448.25 crore rupees. The European Investment Bank in June 2024 agreed to provide a 300 million euro loan, equivalent to 2,668.95 crore rupees for the Suburban Railway Project. With these two agreements, the entire external funding required for the project has been secured. When the project was sanctioned in October 2020, it was aimed to commission the entire 148-kilometer network by October 2026. As of December 2024, more than 67% of the project timeline has elapsed, but little progress has been made on the corridors. While work is started on the corridors 2 and 4, or the Mallige and Kanaka lines, Corridor 1 or the Sampige line is in the tendering phase. In fact, on the Parijaata line or Corridor 3, no progress has been made. Presently, there are some talks going on about shelving the Parijaata line, considering its similar alignment with Namma Metro's Purple line, but it is not official. The work of the Mallige line and Kanaka line was awarded to L&T in August 2022 and December 2023 respectively. Work on the Mallige line is 28% complete and work on the Kanaka line is just 4% complete. Talking about the opening of these lines, 2 stretches of the lines will be partially opened by April 2027. The section of the Mallige line between Chikkabanavara and Yeshwanthpur, 8 km in length, will be opened by December 2026. Also, the section of the Kanaka line between Heelalige and Bengaluru will open by April 2027, which will be 17 kilometers in length. It is expected that the entire 148-kilometer network of the Suburban Railway will be opened by December 2028 or at the latest by June 2029. And that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you like this detailed video. Please like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and share your valuable thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much.